So, hello everyone, and I'm glad to be here with you today, and I'm really thankful for this opportunity. My name is Aybu, and I'm looking forward to talk with you about American Dream versus reality. And I will first talk about American Dream briefly in the presentation, and then I will touch on the real and negative aspects I mentioned in the first part. And I will summarize the subjects we taught. And I want to start with the American Dream. So these two words that inspire many things like new life and a new perfect lifestyle. It is the term used to describe the perfect life that most American citizens and also other people wish to achieve actually. A loving family, stable and strong financial status, and the opportunity to save their life and family's future. The American dream was destined form of living. Today, the American dream is a delusion. Actually, we get this idea when we hit the wall of reality. It is not accessible to everyone due to facts such as taxes, insurance, and bills in daily life. It is also thought and tradition that is likely to turn into an attempt to show the non-existence. So this idea conflicts with the concepts of reality and the idea and dream of achieving everything desired. So because of that, it is actually a delusional and attainable like idea in the Great Gatsby, earning money and what we can say fame can lead to false actions such as showing everyone and making people think that you are the best. This money and fame can reveal attachments and be used by this person to achieve those attachments. And also this American dream idea and tradition oppose reality and is as it is also instills the idea of doing anything to achieve money and fame. So today when we look at the business owners and people with the power, so we see the new and amazing American dream. So these people work less for the extra money, so and still manage to have stability in workplace. What was once achievable for all now exists only for a privileged few. Realizing this dream is very difficult for lower and maybe middle class citizens. If we are looking for a purpose close to what the American dream has to offer today, we must begin university research and find more than average bachelor degrees in the treatment of high-paying career fields. This also adds more time and money to be spent on education we can afford. And we know this situation in a realistic way in our lives. So after finishing school, the hardest thing is actually to find a job in our field of study. So when we consider the job market and want to come to conclusion, this situation may take a long time. Also, we know that, as I mentioned before, we have things like bills, and those things make the dream a little more inaccessible. At the same time, achieving financial success with the American dream has negative consequences for psychological well-being. If I should give example in this situation, I can say that when I was preparing for university, I was suffering hair loss because of this stress. So this desire achieve something can affect us like stress and feeling and feeling doing good and fine. So at the same time, achieving financial success within the American has negative consequences for the psychological well-being, as I mentioned before. And the aim of being successful in achieving this goal and satisfaction also has negative effects on the overall life satisfaction of this success goal. These negative consequences are also encountered in issues such as relations with other people or the person's overstrain in income generating activities such as his, I don't know, maybe her job. However, it is also seen that these people never enjoy life. When life satisfaction is reached, or it causes attitude and behavioral disorders in the relationships around them. Wealth also aims to influence people with how the person looks, where we eat, I don't know, the stores we choose to shop, to education we receive, and the professions we can have throughout our life. It can also affect the person he chooses to love, the friends the person has, the quality of his health, and above all, it shapes individual perspective of his or her own existence. If we briefly give an example to this, Scott Fitzgerald tries to portray the American dream as an illusion in his novel. Fitzgerald, in the 1920s, America's pursuit of vain happiness. He portrayed it as a decade period with no moral and social values. The Great Gatsby, one of the themes of the book is decaying. This decaying theme is actually meant to reflect the decay of the American dream. Gatsby shows himself as a rich and classy. It doesn't matter what business he is doing. This actually dream thought can push the person into the other bad behaviors, such as the thought of looking perfect and being able to do anything. The American dream here shows the illusion actually. Gatsby sees this American dream as winning Daisy's affection. So there's also the distortion of happiness and wealth that this American dream gives us in the novel. Since this dream tells us that if we get all that we want, we will be happy. In the book, Gatsby needs to look luxurious and, I don't know, flash of desire to communicate with Daisy. In fact, this shows the individual's alienation from himself. That appears in the Great Gatsby, as we have seen. This distorted view of the relationship between money and happiness is the cause of Gatsby's form. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you move on your slides? We can only see the first slide in your presentation.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm moving on. And American dream revolves around the pursuit of fortune, but it is the American reality that appears in the Great Gatsby. As we have seen, this distorted view of the relationship between money and happiness is the cause of Gatsby's death for me, actually. Also, Fitzgerald reveals the snobbish behavior of upper class people. We see those behaviors with character Tom in this novel. At the same time, one more reality is touched upon. Daisy's husband, Tom, is a wealthy man, but his mistress lives in the Valley of Ashes. The mistress actually sees Tom as a way to reach her own American dream. Many people in the period used competent people as a stepping stone to reach this American dream. And the reality of this is the reflect in us in this novel. To sum up, I think the American dream is a belief that it is impossible for anyone to climb up, no matter where they were born or in what class they were born. Okay, but the idea of American dream of a person's ascension from the bottom up has been the subject of many movies and books. But it is pleasant to think and imagine this American dream idea. It makes people that they can reach anything they imagine regardless of their class status, family, race, but American dream conflicts with the reality. At the same time, these beliefs can affect the person negatively. So this is the American dream, as in the Great Gatsby. It is actually an illusion and completely contradictory idea for me. This having good financial status and fame can also lead to moral collapses, such as showing everyone that you are the one who can achieve, do everything and buy everything, and making people think that way. The idea and tradition of the American dream are against reality because it is an also idea that makes you think you can do anything and everything for becoming rich. Thank you for your attention. This is my first time, and if I did say or did something wrong, I'm real sorry. And if you have any questions, I'll be pleased to answer them.
I do have a question. Do you mind answering?
Yes.
All right. Since consumerism culture drives the very basic human instinct of greed and desire, can we say that even though it has a very contradictive nature to it, America's consumerism, o- America's obsession with consumerism is the reason why America has become, well, the country it is now?
I think yes, and when we look at the past time, the America wants to come to America and live your dreams. But now everything changed. You can do everything you want, but life changed. And when you face the reality, you sometimes you can do this. I'm not sure. I maybe.
Okay, thank you very much for the question and for your answer, Aybüke. Are there any other questions from the audience, questions or comments from the audience? I'm sorry, my microphone was muted, and when you finished your presentation, I spoke. I wanted to say something, but you couldn't hear me, unfortunately. Thank you very much for your presentation,
Thank
first of
you.
all, Aybüke. It was wonderful. And I was going to ask the audience the questions, but Beytullah asked his question. Rabia Erdem wants to ask a question. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you for firstly, and dear all participants. I am one of the students of Karabük University in English Language and Literature Department. I want to ask that is really Gatsby and his dreams are great, and his dreams is moral. I just want to ask this question. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. I think his American dream is Daisy because he achieved everything. He get this money and fame, but at the end, he just dies for Daisy's sins. And moral because his business is not actually tells us something about his business. We don't know, but he's not he's not moral person, I think. But yes, he's good person. But in his business, I think not. I'm real nervous. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, Aybüke. Any other comments or questions from the audience? I'd like to say
One last question,
yes.
if I may ask.
Yes, of course. Who is speaking?
How in an argument how moral can we say that the quote unquote American dream is actually based on millions of people failing at bare minimum to achieve their dream? How can we argue that this is acceptable for, let's say, the human race?
Thank you for your question. I think we say in our life, like when we get money, I don't know you or I'm not talking with you. So when we get this money, we can do anything we want, but our behaviors can changing. So our behaviors and things other like that is changing. I think this is the moral collapse for me.
Because, for example, like everybody talks about the American dream and how you can come to America and do anything you like. But when you look at the statistics, for example, every 67 business out of 100 fails embarrassingly, and they go under, uncountable debt. But yet still, the American dream is always seen as something that anybody can pull off. Basically, that is my question.
Mhm. I don't
And
know.
why do you think? And why do you think that no one really pays attention to this?
Pays attention to American Dream or
The suffering quote-unquote American dream causes? Like, why does no one ever talks about the very flawed nature of American dream?
I think because of the. Can I get the question again? I couldn't hear exactly, and I don't know what to say.
Of course, of course. Okay, to shorten it, why does no one ever talk about the very flawed nature of the quote-unquote American dream? Because statistically speaking, more than 80% of people who attempt to achieve their dream just fail. And why does no one talk about it?
Because I think we don't talk about our failures. We don't want to talk about we can talk about our success, but when it comes to our failure, we don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I think
Thank you.
yeah, you're right. Nobody pays attention to to those who fail in the American dream, but everyone pays attention to those who succeeds in the American dream. Is that right, Beytullah?
I mean, yeah, it is indeed a very astute observation, if I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was curious about is like, why does collective society never talks about it? Because as individuals, yes, we frown upon, talking about our failures because we always want to show our best. But when you look at it statistically, society should be losing their marbles because in reality, only like 2 people out of 10 actually achieve anything remotely successful.
Yeah, I see the point. Mm-hmm. And why doesn't anybody pay attention to that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, but
Yeah,
I think
I couldn't answer.
I think none of us can answer the question properly here. And I think there's another question, Miraj. Miraj, can you ask your question?
Hello. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
I would like to attempt to answer the question, if I may. I believe it is because of the policy of the America. America follows a Machiavellist policy, which is when it is for the benefits of the country, they do it without asking any morality. That is their policy, and that is how they raise and educate their citizen. They use the ISAs, Louis Althusser's concept, ideological state apparatuses, to raise their citizens in that way. So that's why collectively it is impossible to find a resistance against this system. What we have right now, it is the logic of late capitalism, which started in 50s. They give you a hyper reality and make you believe in that reality. That's why people are not going or talking against the fakeness of American dream, because it's an illusion. It's so in that sense, America is like a huge simulation that gives you that illusion, and we are living in that illusion. That is the reason.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, sure. And also, I have one more question to everyone. As history repeats itself, just like in 20s, we have this pandemic situation. Do you believe that at the end of 2021, will there be a roaring 20s for us as well? That we all party and celebrate?
That is a very interesting question, since we live in a very consumerist society, and we've been locked up in our houses for 2 years now. So people will definitely start wasting their resources for parties and some other social activities and whatnot. So I do think it'll be a thing. It'll be a thing indeed. And this will, like, according to economy laws, this will cause a small boom in the economy, but then it'll cause a massive crash following it. So I'm hoping it doesn't actually happen.
Okay, I think Mesut Er is asking a question.
To pick up on what Miraj said before about this illusion, I guess we can accept the American dream as a grand narrative. So something which seems to be achievable, which seems to be real, but actually isn't, like religion, like equality, like a treat, hold like the carrot in front of the horse, something we try to reach, but it is impossible to reach it. That's why people doesn't accept it. And to me, that's second question. I hope so. I hope that we will have the second roaring 21st.
Okay, now, are there any more comments or questions? Kübra Inal. Kübra, can we have your question or comment? Kübra Inal, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hear me? Yes, hello everyone. I want to add something. Hello, first of all. I don't want to ask a question, but want to add comments. First of all, thank you, Aybu, for your presentation.
Thank you.
I think the novel you are talking about illustrates the American dream. But although Gatsby didn't not legally earn his fortune, he still had to work hard to get to where he was, and he still cannot be in the same class as Tom and Daisy. I guess the author is trying to say that no matter how much money he saves, there is a different layer of education and wealth history that keeps people from entering the upper class. Because some say the American dream became the pursuit of the material well-being, and people were working harder to buy happy family, stylish cars, and fancy houses. In a short, a life of prosperity. However, they did not have enough time to enjoy their well-being. On the other hand, people who look at it thought that the American dream fell far short of the understanding people who had to do two things to keep their families alive. And maybe one question, do you think there is already a contradiction here about the American dream?
Can you say it again? Sorry, I have a bad connection.
Yes, it's very long. But I want to say American dream, understanding people who had to two things. I'm sorry. Do you think there is contradiction in American dream for people?
I think yes, as I mentioned before, this dream says us that you can do anything, you can whatever you want, but you do this. But when look at the life, we have to pay our bills, taxes, and when look at our lives, we have to do something about it. And when we graduated from our university, we have to find our job. So it's not like they said. So I think it's contradictory for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question.
Okay, I think it's been a wonderful session with lots of contributions from the participants. And I'd like to thank Aybu for her wonderful presentation and bringing us lots of different ideas about the American dream and the contradictions of American dream and the ideas of success and failure in the American dream. Thank you very much, Aybu.
Can I say something again?
Yes, please.
And thank you for listening me. And this is my first time, as I said before. And if I did say something wrong or did something wrong, I'm really sorry. And thank you for everything.
You didn't say anything wrong. That was a
Thank you.
wonderful contribution to the conference.
Thank
Thanks for joining us. And I wish you follow your dreams. Not American dream, but your own dreams.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to stop recording now.